If you love our podcast and you're looking to dive deeper into the type of work that we keep talking about on all these episodes, we would love to have you join us for our upcoming workshop, Becoming the One, Healing Your Attachment Wounds with IFS. This is going to be a transformative course that will harness the power of internal family systems, also known as IFS, to heal your attachment wounds. You'll be embarking on a profound journey of self-discovery, learning to build secure, fulfilling relationships by understanding and nurturing your inner world. If you're seeking a more liberated approach to love, unbound by the constraints of what you believe to be your attachment style, and come to the place of dating and relationships from a place of wholeness rather than emotional dependency. This workshop is ideal and is going to be truly, truly powerful. It'll be on September 6th, 7th, 21st, and 22nd. You can find more information on our website, sophy.love. Just go under what we do, events, and then click on Becoming the One. Really looking forward to seeing you there. Welcome to the Conscious Matchmaker. I'm your host, Sophy Singer, founder of Sophy Love, alongside Elizabeth Foster, lead executive matchmaker and conscious date coach. We'll explore conscious dating, which extends beyond the realm of romantic relationships. We'll help you break down the subconscious barriers that have held you back from experiencing the love and connection you truly deserve. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Conscious Matchmaker. I'm Sophy Singer, and today I'm here with my lead executive matchmaker, Elizabeth Foster. Hi, Liz.
Hi, so happy to be here as always.
Okay, guys, today we are going to talk about 3 ways to turn dating from transactional to transformational. We hear this all the time. I probably hear it on a daily basis that dating feels transactional. That's probably, I would say, the most commonly used term in my conversations with potential and new clients. They're coming to us for a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons is that dating sucks for them and feels bad. And the main descriptor word I keep hearing is it's transactional. We have 3 great ways to make a shift from transactional to a more transformative, transformational experience, something more nourishing. And before we get into all 3, I just want to say that there is like an overarching kind of an umbrella under which all of these 3 live. And I'm going to give full credit to this phrase to either Ryle Castano or Authentic Relating. I'm not sure if he came up with it or someone else, but I live by this phrase and say it probably every day also in my coaching. And that is that we need to be that which we want to experience in another. So just overarching all 3 of these tips we're going to give is that we need to model and embody and show up in the way in which we want others to show up for us. And so if we want dating to not be transactional and not feel transactional, we need to show up in a way that's not transactional. And it's hard because when you're in that motion every single day, every week, every month, and you're on the dating apps, you're like, well, everybody's this way to me, so that's how I'm going to be. Then nothing ever changes. But when we're able to show up the way in which we want to be experienced and the way we want to experience others, we're modeling it and we're also giving permission to others. Liz, tell us about how this came up. We have some client scenarios that have come up in the past that really illustrate this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you mentioned, like this conversation or some form of this conversation, this woe of feeling transactional in dating comes up in almost every screening I do, almost anybody I've ever talked to that's done online dating, and of course we have clients that have experienced this too. We have a former client who kind of speaks to all three of these things that, are tough to navigate and make dating feel more transactional. So, we have this former client, Jamie, who she had this kind of pattern of always wanting her dates at the same place, within walking distance of her own home, no other activities, want to go here, meet them. Just felt like that was the only thing that she had time for, was too busy. It wasn't worth her time to really go out and go to somewhere else or try something new. She had a formula kind of sticking with that. And what would end up happening
Mm.
on those dates is she would be interviewing them and, didn't feel like the dates were fun, didn't feel like they were asking enough questions, ended up being bored. She kind of came into these dates feeling like, she wanted to be entertained. She was in the evaluation mode. Like, is this the one for me? And definitely interviewing and trying to assess, like, how does this person meet all of my checkboxes, right? Like, how do they fit into my life without really giving the opportunity to understand them as a human being? And so, of course, her dates were not very fun. She wasn't having, she wasn't enjoying the process
No.
itself. Yeah. So that's kind of, I'm sure there's plenty of our listeners have experienced the same, whether on being the person that's going to the same place or being the interviewer or feeling like they've
Yeah.
been interviewed on dates too. And it's not fun to be on either side of that equation, right?
No. No. And Liz, this reminds me of when I used to be single and dating online. This is many years ago, pre-apps, but not pre-dating websites.
Mm-hmm.
I was on JDate and Match.com, emailing back and forth. And I also used to do this. I had like two spots and I would go to the same spots every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like the bartenders knew me. Like, oh, here's Sophie with
Here she is again.
another suitor, I like knew what I would order every time.
Mm-hmm.
It was so monotonous. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember once going on one of the dates and it was a crappy date. Like the guy, I didn't really like him that much. And then he asked if we could split the bill, which was it was just like even worse.
Yeah.
And after the date, I went in my car and sobbed. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I cannot go on another date like this. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just like at the exact same place. I don't think I went back there after that
Yeah.
for a long time. But I was also like, I was interviewing these
Mm-hmm.
people also. I think I was more in a place of how does this, and I think we all do this, right? Or everyone does this. How does this person make me feel? Are they
Mm-hmm.
making me feel safe and loved and attractive? And
Mm-hmm.
am I having fun?
Yeah.
Does that mean if I'm having fun, that means I'm going to get to have fun with them for the rest of my life? It was really focused on how this other person made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's a tough test to pass. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we're going to get into three ways
Mm-hmm.
to help make dating feel more transformational and not so transactional. And so, again, overarching ideas, let's just be that which we want to experience in another. The first one that I want to talk about is going into the date with a mindset of respect and reverence and acknowledgement for the date itself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is an opportunity for you and another person you've both chosen to carve out this time in your busy lives or even not busy lives to share time and to share space and to share energy with this other human. It's sacred. Like, it can feel sacred if you treat it that way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think in the world of dating today, dating apps, swiping, chatting, okay, let's just knock them out. Let's go on 3 or 4 dates.
Yeah.
This came up. I was in a coaching session few weeks ago with a client. She had just gotten back, even though we were matching her. She had just gotten back, also wanted to get back on dating apps. So she got on an app, and within less than a week of being on the apps, we got on a coaching call. She said, "Well, I have 3 dates in the next 3 days." I'm like, "Whoa, okay." And actually, I have one tonight. I have two tomorrow. And I was like, "You have two in one day?" And she said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, let's like slow down here for a second. Why would you schedule 2 dates in one day?" She's like, "Well, I'm in between jobs right now. I'm looking for my next gig. And it's just, I might as well fill up my time." And I was like, wow. So, how would you feel if someone was speaking about meeting up with you in this way? Like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I'm just like filling up my time. I'm in between
Yeah.
jobs." Meanwhile,
Just
she's
bored.
legit looking for her life partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is someone who hired us,
Mm-hmm.
is looking for a husband, wants to have children,
Yeah.
deeply seeks deep, meaningful companionship. So she's working on herself and doing all the work. And then the minute she got back on the apps, it was like, "Oh, let's just schedule 3 dates in 2 days."
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing is that what that does is it puts her in a place of she's just talking about these dates as a time filler.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is very little respect for the time and energy of two people potentially connecting. Secondly, you're putting 2 dates next to each other, 2 hours apart or 3 hours apart, or one for lunch and one for dinner. Inevitably, you are going to compare those two people harshly against each other, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's human nature to compare two people. And what that is it's dehumanizing. It's a dehumanizing behavior,
Mm-hmm.
comparing them, and you will not be able to not compare. Like,
Yeah.
it's impossible.
Yeah.
And so we kind of sat with this energy, and of like the energy she's bringing to these dates, of like she's filling time, she's just knocking them out,
Mm-hmm.
trying to stack them
Yeah.
next to each
Play the
other.
numbers game.
And she said to me, yeah, it's a numbers game. And she also said to me, "Well, the reason why I want them all in the next couple days is because I like to save my weekends for my friends
Mm.
and things. So the dates are not important." So again, that just like, again, to me, there's absolutely no respect
Mm-hmm.
for the time, energy, and space being brought. And that's the energy she's showing up to the date with,
Yeah.
is this transactional, filling the time, just evaluating to see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
and comparing to another person right away. And for me, I'm like, would you want to be on the other end of that? Like, would you want someone else to be meeting with you that way?
Mm-hmm.
And B, does this speak to the energy you want to bring to a relationship?
Right.
I mean, this is the foot that you're starting on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the moment we started talking about it, she was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." And yeah, I mean, she kept the dates, she didn't cancel them. But after that, we decided to slow down, to space them out.
Yeah.
And listen, I just want to tell everyone, it's not easy to do this, what I'm asking her to do and what I'm suggesting that everyone do, right? Because when you're in the online dating world, it immediately just lends itself
Yeah.
to behaving this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's natural to be less human and to be transactional.
Yeah.
But if we want to change our results, we need to change from within. Like, we need to change how we show up.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be that which we want to experience in another, and just notice how transactional you're being, just in response to the space.
Yeah.
And to me, this is actually like a healing. This is like how we can heal the dating space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just make it human again.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I like to say, like, treat every single date like it's like a mini relationship.
Mm.
Like, it might be an hour-long relationship, it might be 3 hours, it might be 3 weeks, but treat it that way. Treat it as an opportunity to spark a tiny little relationship, and where it goes, who knows, but respect it that way. Respect the person on the other side, respect the time, the energy, and the space that you're going to be sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our tip number one.
Mm.
Liz?
So much juice there. Tip number two that we have for helping this become a less transactional experience is make dating part of your personal growth practice. You know, if you are really looking for long-term partnership, a deep, fulfilling relationship, it's also going to start with you and your own personal relationship with yourself. And so if you make dating a part of that practice, it will help you get out of that mindset of the shopping and the comparing. But one way that you can do that is by choosing a quality that you want, whether in yourself or in a partner, that you want to embody and really lean into that on each date. So some examples would be, if you're masculine, or man trying to lean into more of those masculine energy. Maybe you want to focus on qualities like leadership or intentionality, and you can do that by taking the driver's seat a little bit more, try to make a
Mm-hmm.
plan, set up a date that is somewhere you want to go, or ask the person you're going out with where they would like to go. Try to make some plans with that, take some leadership roles, communicate really clearly, be upfront about what you want to do, when you want to do it, that you want to see this person, even little things like opening the door for them, ask, your date if she'd like you to order for her. Things, whatever it is that means, leans into that quality for you. So if it's leadership or intentionality, things like that, that will help you feel like you're filling that role a little bit more. On the feminine side, a lot of traits like practicing being more present, being more responsive, playful, working on active listening, things like that. Just seeing how you can bring more of that energy onto each date, and practice how you want to show up as a human, on these dates and in your life. So how can you embody being more feminine? What does that look like to you if that's the quality that you want to embody? But really thinking about how you can show up in this way, and then practice it with each new person, and give yourself the opportunity to really be what it is that you're looking for in another too.
And the key word is practice. So
Mhm.
practice it, like
Yeah.
practice it, but also treat the date like practice. Forget that we're here on a date. Like, again, I love to take the word date out. I love to bring the stakes down. Like,
Hmm.
you're practicing being the human that you want to be in the world and in a relationship on this date, in this interaction. And
Yeah.
so it's funny. Sometimes we'll present a match to our clients and they'll be like, I'm not sure. And we're like, just treat it like practice.
Yeah. Just go out, see
but,
what
but
happens.
like, can we like do that all the time? Like, can
Yeah.
every date be practice?
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
practice. It's the radical practice of being human.
Mm-hmm. What an idea.
This was how things were before dating became so separated and so
Mm-hmm.
it used to be integrated into our lives, and now dating is its own kind of separate activity where I
Mm-hmm.
think it just shouldn't be. Okay, so number 3, treat every single new connection. I'm just going to call it a new connection, not a date, but we all know I'm saying a date. Treat each new connection. And so, again, this could be like any new connection, that just literally any new person you meet out and about. So it doesn't have to be a date, but
Mm-hmm.
we are talking about dates. Treat each one as an opportunity to give yourself and another the gift of being and feeling seen and heard and held in whatever your human experience is in that moment that you're together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. You're not there interviewing for the role of future life partner.
Yeah.
You are not, you are shifting. Like, you need to consciously make a shift before you sit down in front of another person to from this evaluating mindset, evaluating for goodness of fit,
Mhm.
okay, to being in a place of nourishment and nourishing another.
Mhm.
Human connection is nourishing. Talking to another person is nourishing if you make it that way. If you
Mhm.
show up with that intention, there's a program definitely running. Are they the one? Are they the one? Let's just be aware of it so that the more aware you become of a pattern like that in a program, it softens over time. Like, hey, part that is wondering if this is the one. I see
Mhm.
you. I hear you. Thank you for watching out for this, but I got this. I'm here to connect. When we connect from our true selves, it's effortless connection. It does not depend on the outcome of this connection. And so to do this, we teach a lot of this through our authentic relating coaching as well as internal family systems.
Mhm.
Consciously focus and guide the conversation to the present moment, to this relational level. Notice, slow down, notice how you're feeling as you're on the date talking to the other person. Stop, take a breath, reveal how you're feeling, reveal, ask, how's this date going for you? I want to
Mhm.
ask myself that same question. I mean, notice if there's just like a ping pong back and forth of, oh yeah, I do this and I've done this and this is where I traveled. And you can break that monotony and just say, hey, like it feels surface level. Like, can I share what I'm noticing? I'm noticing right now that I have tap into your curiosity. Like, as the ping pong is happening, inevitably it does with the information
Mhm.
exchange. Take a moment and whatever they're sharing with you, or maybe there was something you were curious about before you showed up because we have these profiles on each other, right? Like another potentially kind of interesting thing to do, and just thinking of this right now is since we already have these profiles, right?
Mhm.
Pick something from their profile that you're actually curious about, or something from the chat that you guys talked about,
Mhm.
and just say like, yeah, I was thinking about this, like I'm really curious, I have a curiosity around XYZ. Tap into your curiosity, get edgy.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Like, I would say the edgier and the more uncomfortable it is to ask a question, the more important it is to ask and the more juicy the conversation will be. And also, another suggestion is if you are going to ask something that feels a little uncomfortable, you can share, like, I'm a little nervous to ask this, but like, are you cool with me asking? I have like a real big major curiosity around this. And they'll always say yes, and now they're prepared to hear something that's a little edgy.
Yeah.
And then you share the question, you know, and after they share their answer, you can even say, like, what was it like to be asked that question? Like, that's another interesting question.
Mhm.
I'm just throwing
Yeah.
stuff out. I'm just saying, like, this is being seen and heard and understood and held. And it also gives permission to the other person to tap
Mhm.
into that within themselves.
I did just want to mention too, if anybody's listening and they
Yeah.
want a little bit more about how to do some of these practices, go back and listen to our authentic relating episodes because we dive into each pillar, revealing your experience and
Hmm.
showing up, owning your experience, and all of that. So just check out those authentic relating episodes too. We've got a lot of great info in there as well.
Yeah. Assume nothing.
Hmm.
Ooh, notice the
Yeah.
assumptions and reveal them. Check them. If you notice yourself immediately making an assumption about something that someone's saying on the date, oh gosh, perfect opportunity to reveal. Oh, I notice I have an assumption that you don't like to go to festivals or concerts because you
Yeah.
said XYZ. Maybe that's important. Like, I've heard that before. Oh, she said this and doesn't seem like she likes crowds. Okay, did
Hmm.
she tell you she doesn't like crowds? Like, maybe there's,
Did you ask her
so
if she doesn't like
again,
her? Yeah.
yeah, like assumptions are such interesting conversation topics too.
Hmm.
And I would say like, I would say at least half the time they're wrong. And then you go with an assumption, and if you don't check it, you're just going to experience the other person through the lens of your assumption.
Yes.
And then usually the connection will die. So anyways, okay, so I'm going to bring it back just just bringing us back to this kind of the overarching idea for all three of these, which is just be that which you want to experience in another, in life, in your human experience. It's like, it's so much, I know it's harder, easier said than done, but it's so worth doing. Like it really is worth it. And the more you do it and the more you practice these things, the easier it becomes.
And the more yourself you become.
Yeah, you just, and then it becomes easier
Mm-hmm.
to be on dates. It becomes more fun, it's
Yeah.
nourishing. And you notice that you start to transform and learn about yourself as you meet more people because they're the mirror, right?
Yeah.
The way you react to someone is a mirror to what you need to learn and where you need to grow, right? So I'm going to close it out with one of my, I can quote Cory Muscara all day long. It's like, I just feel like maybe someday we can have him on our podcast.
Be amazing.
So I get his text teachings, and this one just came. I mean, we just were looking at this right before we recorded this. I'm like, oh, another one that fits perfect. So, and it goes like this. Maybe life doesn't give you what you ask for, but rather the people, places, and situations that help you develop what you ask for. I mean, I don't know that it could be more perfect than for what we're talking about here, because I think the biggest complaint I hear about also, other than it's transactional, is, oh, he wasn't the way I thought. He didn't show up the way his pictures looked. This wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be. Another 3 dates with someone they're just not a right fit for me. And it's, talk about transactional conversation right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this person didn't fit the bill. But if you could see each one as a person, a place, a situation that can help you develop yourself in a way that will bring you what you're wanting, then it's never wasted time, right? Again, it's sacred. Let's respect it. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm going to just now just give one special plug to our amazing workshop coming up. I am so excited about this. Elizabeth, you'll be joining us as well.
Yes.
This workshop is called Becoming the One, Healing Your Attachment Wounds with IFS. So what this is, we're running it in September. What this is it's a transformative course that's going to harness the power of internal family systems to begin healing your attachment wounds. It'll be facilitated by our lead emotional health coach, IFS certified Justin Wilford, and myself. We'll be on a journey with all of our attendees and participants of self-discovery. We'll be learning to build secure, fulfilling relationships by understanding and nurturing our inner worlds. So really, if you're looking for a more liberated approach to love, unbound by the constraints of your previous attachment style. I think people think I'm this type of attachment and that's it. That's what I am. So I need this other type of attachment partner, and that is not the case. Attachment science and attachment theory is real and it's not fixed. That's the amazing part. This workshop will help you break free from repetitive relationship patterns. You'll be able to attract healthier partners, and you'll be able to trust yourself and your instincts in dating and romantic situations, and really gain the capacity to form relationships from a place of wholeness rather than emotional dependency. So I'm so excited about it. We're running it. It's a 4-day workshop. There's 3-hour Zooms on each day over 2 weekends. It will be running September 6th, 7th, 21st, and 22nd. More information can be found on our website, sophie.love. Just go to what we do, events, and then click on the workshop called Becoming the One. And lastly, just want everybody to tune in because our next episode, we will be interviewing Justin Wilford, my dear friend and emotional health coach, IFS practitioner, who will be teaching this course with me. And I'm so excited for that. So tune in for that. Thanks for joining us today, Liz. Thanks again for an amazing conversation.
See you next time.
Bye. Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Conscious Matchmaker. Dating and relationships are a vehicle to your healing and growth. If you're on a journey to experience conscious love and authentic connections, remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, I'm Sophy Singer, The Conscious Matchmaker, sending love your way.